Before she became one of the most feared back row players in world rugby, before the awards, headlines and standing ovations, there was a young girl from a small village in County Wexford who simply refused to stop playing. At 6 years old, she lined up alongside boys who were often bigger, stronger and older. Most children dream of reaching the top. Few are willing to fight for every step of the journey. Yet, that determined young player would eventually become one of the faces of a new era in Irish women's rugby. This is the story of Aoife Wafer. Welcome back to Skylight Waves, the home of powerful sports stories and the journeys that define greatness. If you enjoy deep cinematic biographies that go beyond highlights and headlines, make sure you like the video, subscribe and turn on notifications. Now, let's go back to where it all began. Born on the 25th of March 2003 in Ballygarrett, County Wexford, Ireland, Aoife Wafer began her rugby journey at Gorey Rugby Club. From the beginning, she stood out for her determination and competitiveness. She played alongside boys through the age grades, learning resilience in an environment that demanded toughness every week. Eventually, rugby regulations meant she could no longer remain in the boys' pathway. What could have been a setback became a turning point. Initially playing as a scrum half, Wafer later joined Enniscorthy RFC in 2018 and transitioned into the back row. The move changed everything. It unlocked her explosive ball carrying, physicality, and ability to influence every phase of the game. Before long, she was emerging as one of Ireland's brightest young talents. Her progress accelerated rapidly. She represented Leinster, developed through Blackrock College, captained Ireland at under, won 8 level, and earned recognition as a player with enormous potential. She was also invited into Ireland's Sevens programme after completing her leaving certificate, gaining valuable experience in a faster and more demanding format of the game. But the path to international success was not without obstacles. In 2022, Wafer earned her first senior Ireland cap during the Women's Six Nations against Italy. It was a dream come true, but shortly afterward, injuries disrupted her momentum. Months of rehabilitation followed, delaying what many believed would be a rapid rise. For many young players, such setbacks can derail a promising career. Wafer refused to let that happen. In October 2023, she returned to the Ireland setup against Spain in Dubai. To most fans, it was simply another appearance. For Wafer, it marked the end of a long battle and the start of a remarkable breakthrough. The 2024 Women's Six Nations became the tournament that transformed her career. For the first time, she established herself as a regular starter for Ireland. Against France in Le Mans, she scored a crucial try and demonstrated the versatility that was becoming her trademark, shifting between open-side flanker and number 8 when required. Throughout the championship, her influence continued to grow. She broke defensive lines, won collisions, and provided the energy that helped Ireland secure a third-place finish and qualification for the Rugby World Cup. Statistics highlighted her impact. She ranked among the tournament's most dangerous ball carriers and line breakers, consistently producing performances that changed games. By the end of the competition, she was named Ireland's Player of the Championship. The rugby world had taken notice. Then came the moment that announced her on the global stage. In September 2024, Ireland travelled to Canada for WXV1 and faced reigning world champions New Zealand. Few expected what followed. Wafer delivered one of the finest performances of her career, scoring 2 tries as Ireland stunned the Black Ferns in one of the greatest victories in Irish women's rugby history. Overnight, she was no longer viewed as a rising prospect. She had become one of the world's elite back row players. Recognition quickly followed. At the 2024 World Rugby Awards in Monaco, Wafer was named in the World Rugby Dream Team, confirming her place among the sport's best performers. Yet even bigger achievements were still ahead. The 2025 Women's Six Nations elevated her status even further. Opponents knew exactly how dangerous she was, but stopping her proved far more difficult than identifying the threat. Match after match, she delivered commanding performances. Her carrying power, defensive work and consistency made her the heartbeat of Ireland's forward pack. When the championship ended, history was made. Wafer was voted Guinness Women's Six Nations Player of the Championship, becoming the first Irish woman and the youngest player ever to win the prestigious award. Her rise was no longer an Irish success story. It had become an international one. That same year brought another significant milestone. In May 2025, Wafer signed for Harlequins Women, one of the leading clubs in English rugby. The move gave her the opportunity to test herself against some of the best players in the professional game every week. Later that year, she was selected for Ireland's Rugby World Cup squad. Despite injury concerns leading into the tournament, she returned to play her part as Ireland reached the quarter-finals, gaining valuable experience on rugby's biggest stage. But perhaps her most historic achievement was still to come. By the time the 2026 Women's Six Nations arrived, expectations surrounding Wafer had never been higher. Winning a major individual award once is difficult. Defending it is even harder. Yet Wafer somehow improved again. She scored 5 tries during the championship and produced another series of dominant performances. Her carrying, breakdown work, leadership and relentless energy helped Ireland secure another strong campaign. When the votes were counted, history was made once more. Aoife Wafer became the first woman ever to win the Guinness Women's Six Nations Player of the Championship award in consecutive seasons. It was a milestone that confirmed what many already believed. She had become one of the defining rugby players of her generation. Meanwhile, her impact at Harlequins continued to grow. She quickly established herself as a key player, delivering standout performances and earning widespread admiration. Her influence was such that the club moved to secure her future with a contract extension in 2026. What makes Aoife Wafer's story remarkable is not just the trophies, awards or records. It is the speed of her rise. From a young girl playing with boys in rural Wexford to an Ireland age grade captain. From injury setbacks and uncertainty to international recognition. From local rugby pitches to defeating the world champions. From promising prospect to global star. And perhaps the most exciting part is that her story is still being written. Away from rugby, Wafer continues balancing elite sport with her physiotherapy studies at University College Dublin, while her younger sister Orla follows her own rugby pathway through Ireland's development system. The future remains unwritten. More championships may come. More records may fall. More history may be made. But one thing is already certain. The girl who refused to stop playing has become one of the most influential figures in modern Irish rugby. The question once asked about Aoife Wafer was whether she could reach the top. Now the question is far more intriguing. Just how high can she go?